Hello, 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 hello. This is October and we are in the fourth quarter. We are in the fourth quarter of our journey on this weight loss journey. And so for 2024 weight loss, and I am so very excited about where we are, what we're doing, how we're moving. I don't need to hear from you. I don't need to, I just know if you're following and you've been looking at what we've been doing, then I know pretty much that you are on course and you're moving at the speed that you're supposed to. And if you're not, you'll get there. But the goal, remember, just recap for those who are just coming in. 2024 weight losses, we're not going to be on December 31st. We're going to celebrate that we're not the same weight we were on January 1st of 2024 on December 31st when the clock ticks over 2025. But on the 31st, we are celebrating the fact that we have lost our weight. That's whether you use a pound a month, which will be 12 months, or if you use 5 pounds a month, that's 60 pounds. If you use 10 pounds of 100, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just saying, whatever that number is, for those of you who just started, I was speaking with a person, and if you have 10 or 15 that you want to lose between now and the end of the year, you still can join us and be on the 2024 weight loss to say that you moved that needle from the 15 to the 10 to the 5 or whatever that is for you. You actually achieved that. So whatever, we don't talk about diets, we don't talk about foods, we don't talk about how exercising. We are losing weight by losing the weight behind the weight. We're concentrating on those things that help us gain weight by life when life happens. That could be whatever that is for you when life happens. Whether it's your scheduling, whether it's your job, whether it's the oppression that you feel you're going through based on life circumstances, caretaking, being job stress, being out of work, whatever it is that's causing you to, things from your childhood that you're still carrying, things from negative circumstances that happen in your life, things from trauma that you've experienced. If you're still carrying those things, we want to lose the weight behind the weight and focus on that because really losing weight is from the inside out. It's not from the outside in. The outside manifests just like we're overweight. The outside manifests is why we were eating. The the losing of the weight now, um, and I'm just your weight loss encourager. I'm just to encourage you because I'm on the journey myself. But what we're doing is we're losing the weight behind the weight, the things that we've been carrying all these years, and or if that applies to you, or things you've been carrying recently that has caused you to kind of mushroom or balloon a little bit in your eating because you're choosing food as a one of the means by which to offset what you're going through or to modify or to comfort you or whatever. Those are the things that we're looking at, and so I really want to encourage you. I want to challenge you to join us if you're just starting. If not, if you're on your journey, I hope that everything's going well for you. I've had some milestones. I went and looked at I went and pulled some medical records so I could see when I went to the doctor's office what my beginning weight was around the January, beginning of the January. Because I told a couple of my doctors, especially those that have been with me for a minute, I said, look, I'm coming back to take pictures. I want you to take a picture with me of my journey for 2024 weight loss where I've achieved this because you have been on me or, hoping that I would get to this point. And so I want you to definitely be one of the ones that experience and have and celebrated my success of finally getting to this point. And I really am still quiet about what I'm doing. I'm not really trying to, be on full blast yet. But I tell you what, as I get closer and starting the Lord's will, 2025, and on that December 31st, I'm gonna be blasting for days about what. As a matter of fact, I told one of my and you all may want to do this, but especially if you've had a lot of weight to lose, I've told one of my I have a family member who's really into uh, TV and directing and things like that. I said, look, we're gonna do a documentary, so to speak, of this journey for me because it is for me, but I just want to be able to see my progress and talk about my progress and be honest and sincere about it because I'm not coming back this way again. I told God once I do this, I'm gonna do this and stay this way. And I was thinking while I was in the kitchen the other day, I was like, if I had this mindset and this fervor and this even 15 years ago, wow, where would I be now in the scheme of some things? But God's timing is perfect. That's why I say a day with the Lord is like 1,000 years, 1,000 years like a day. He can restore into the years the locusts and the cankerworm. So I'm not going to worry about the fact that I'm 15 years out or 20 years out. I could have been, out of this 25 years out. But what I am is He's kept me. He is a keeper. He loves me, and He's been covering me through knowing that this was all in me all along, and that I've done this before, but I just didn't keep it off. I mean, and I'll share that with you going forward. I don't want to get into this now, but I'm not going to be long. I will be on definitely from now until the end of the year. We're going to be doing two, no less than two, to encourage you as we go forward. I wanted to, this is the fourth quarter of 2024. So, what I want to preface this with is that I was watching some of the football and I saw where a lot of teams over the past 3 weeks, a lot of teams, whether it was the college football or the NFL, a lot of teams were down in the third quarter, right? And it looked like they weren't going to. I mean, they were down like 3-30, something like that, or 10-30. I know I watched the Colorado game with Baylor, and they were down. I watched another team. I can't think of what team it was, but a couple other teams were down, and then they came back. So what I wanted to preference the fourth quarter, and I thought about. I wonder what I saw rather when I watched those, how those young men. It looked like those first 3 quarters they weren't gonna be able to bounce back. But something happened. I don't know when it happened. I don't know how it happened. It wasn't. They had already gone to the halftime, so they didn't come back out. Pushing on that. One team that I saw, they started in the third quarter with only 5 minutes left in that quarter, all the way up to the fourth quarter. Another team came back around the fourth quarter and just blew out and ended up winning. I was like, so I started looking at that from the standpoint of athletes and the mindset. Something happened. I don't know what happened to them, those teams that ended up coming back in the fourth quarter. But they came back in the fourth quarter and they won. So I want you to understand that this quarter is the quarter, can be that, even though you may not have. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I wanted to be a lot more further along than I am now, because I kind of have factored mine in by each month how much I wanted to lose and all of that. And so now I'm like, well, I really will have to catch up this fourth quarter to meet that goal. But you know what, guys, why are you trying to push in your number? You might need to know what my number is for you as far as losing. I just want you to be healthy. So if you're doing the lifestyle changes and you're doing everything that you need to do, and you're laying aside the weight, and I'm gonna tell you, it is spiritual, because when I start laying things down and I lay before Him and I lay this down, what even something that could happen back in my childhood, or something that could happen when I was a teenager, or something the way in which I didn't realize I was still holding on to something someone said, or something that someone did, or not. I started realizing when I was letting those things go and literally letting them go, I started, the scale was changing. I was like, but I ate this and I ate, and I didn't really work my food plan schedule like I wanted to that day. But I still lost weight because I was losing the weight. I'm trying to tell you all, lose the weight behind the weight. It's not so much the pounds, it's what we're carrying in our spirits and our emotions in our soul, that we've been carrying around, that's impacting our body, that's still holding on. Women who have babies, their body goes and transforms back. It's designed to transform back into the state that they were. Now they may have some belly fat, they may have some the baby fat. There are women walking around today still with weight from when they carried the babies. They didn't get all of it off. They either ate, I don't know what they did to keep all of it, but it's really, your body goes back if you get it back to where it should be, because those 9 months really for just getting the baby here. And then of course I give you the next year for getting, for your body to go back and transform back the way God created it to get. But then why are you still carrying your baby fat? Why are you still carrying the baby weight? So God was saying, well, why are you still carrying those issues? That right there is 25 pounds. because you've been carrying it for so long. That right there is 50 pounds because you've been carrying. So no wonder I ballooned up to over 300. And then my, just trauma. Uh, 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 I saw a guy. His I don't want to mention his name, he's an excellent worshiper. Um, but he mentioned about how his journey for where he is now compared to where he was before, how he gained weight because of some things that was happening in his personal life. And I could relate to that. I can I can I could go back. I pulled my calendar out and I went back to some of the major things that was happening, and I could see where I stayed over 250 pounds for that many years because that was a trigger. I ate that and I stayed in that zone. Not that I needed to. And then I would lose, but I would never come under the 250. Um, but technically speaking, I was carrying. I'm carrying. I mean, when you're 300 pounds, I was carrying another person. Almost with 250, I was carrying another. I still was carrying another person because the amount of weight that I would lose to be at the weight that doctors say I need to be, I was carrying another person all these years, and God still kept me. He still looked past my fault. That was a fault. It was a false sense of security that I was using food and to feed my emotions and the areas of my life that caused me to be here. And then now I've matured into a point in my faith and everything where I'm like, well, this is not how you designed me. This is not supposed to be my frame. And I apologize for, you know, distorting it all this time. And then I lose it and then I go back and do it again. No, that's not who I serve. And so I'm gonna be honest with you. I missed some things. I probably forfeited a lot of things that he really had intended for me during those years when I didn't realize that I was lying life and my response to life situations, using food as my comfort or whatever, however I was using it, temporary fix, whatever, using that to exist. And I was just existing. I wasn't really totally living. I was existing somewhat, but not totally. I still had all those barriers because I was obese. And but I would like to say this for those who are there. And let me say, I lived all those years, right? Obese. One thing God told me when I first started this journey, when I really ballooned up to the 300, He says, "I will not heal you until you love yourself right where you are." I've said this before, so I'm going to keep reiterating that because I really believe that was the beginning part of my losing the weight. Was to start trying to start loving because you know what? I realized He loved me through it. He loved me through everything He saw me. Even though He didn't have that for me, Christ in the right hand of Father, I already died for that. But even though I was still going through it, they still loved me. He still kept me. He still covered me. So I want you to make sure that you are understanding your purpose, you understand your divine assignment, you understand your divine protection, you understand His divine love for you, and that you are covered and that He loves you right where you are. So I don't care if you're 500, 400, whatever. Love yourself where you are first. Start seeing yourself, and then the next thing I had to do is start seeing myself through His eyes, not through my own. And then I had to stop seeing how people saw me, and I started to start seeing how He saw me. That was the second part. This wasn't even in my notes. So I guess I'm supposed to say this. And the third thing I started doing is acting on it. I started acting on it. And I started getting into the different looks. I knew I would never be able to be a model, but I'm His model. And so I started treating myself like His model. And it started working inside out. And I started dealing with the levels of faith I didn't have. And I started dealing with the things that I did believe. And I started dealing with I'm sitting on things, and you'll start hearing about it at the end of the year. But I'm sitting on things that He had given me years ago that I didn't have enough faith to even act out because I just didn't think I was a good model, a good representation of it. But yet, that was the very thing that was to heal. That was the very thing that was a promote. That's probably the very thing where a lot of my affluence, I want to invest in this. He's like, I've already invested in you. I've given you this. It's in your hand. What are you doing with it? So I want you to love yourself right where you are. I want you to understand and see yourself through his eyes. And thirdly, I want you to start operating in that. So the fourth quarter, these are my points that I just wanted to bring out. Review your journey. So I did that. I started looking at my journey where I started. I have pictures and things. I have pictures of me at 300 pounds I've taken with people, 300 other things that I was doing. Then I started, and then I tracked my progress. I'm tracking my progress. So I do track my, I gotta have a calendar. I went and got calendars, and every month note what my weight is on that calendar, and I can see whether I progressed from 1 month to another. I was like, how can I only lose 2 pounds in a month? I didn't, but then I started, doing other things, and I went back and started looking at some of the things that I wasn't doing. I started looking at the weight that I was still carrying. I looked at, oh, how about this? I looked at the weight that I started picking up again, because sometimes when you are nurturers and or if you are in a certain state, you will start to pick up things God didn't intend for you to handle. Wow. I can't believe I said that. Oh my God. That is so true. You start picking up other people start just sharing stuff with you. You don't pick that up. He didn't tell you to pick that up. You pray for them and you say and you believe that it can work for them and you keep moving. But that wasn't supposed to be yours. Or you start helping people and you get too far in helping to it can become a fault. You know why it's gonna become a fault? Because what you're doing is you're spending more on what they're and you're not spending on what he gave you. So I had to do that. So track your progress. Make sure you look into see the progress you're making inside and out. Also accept and expect your success. Accept and expect your success. If I say I want to be this way, I accept the fact that that's the way that I want to be. That's my goal. And I expect that I can reach that because he said I can do all things through him who strengthens me. And he's strengthening me. He's strengthening me every day, every minute, every second, every hour of this journey. He's strengthening me. Appreciate your transformation. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to be. I got some other things coming that I've developed as a result of this. Transformation is something because I can see the manifestation of the transformation, but there's some scars. There's some evidence that I had obesity as a condition for years, and he gave me something and put something in my spirit to motivate myself to get past what I see in my transformation. Accept it. I did it. Someone said to me, "Well, you're going to go get this done," and you go, "No, no, I'm not. I'm not going to get all that done. I did this. I'm just thankful that he's kept me this far and is going to help me is guiding me through my faith to be able to reach the journey that I want to be. But I'm it's going to have to supernaturally manifest because I'm not going to do all of that. No, it was my decision to stay that way that long, which means that I stretch skin and stuff that shouldn't be. That's me. I gotta own up to it. So but I appreciate my transformation from where I'm not 300 now and how I've lost this weight and how I'm determined to keep it off. But the fact that the transformation, I appreciate the transformation. And I think when let's take it to women who are having, or, even athletes, when they appreciate the transformation of that success of coming out of those 3 quarters and then the fourth quarter they win because something happened in that transformation with them between those quarters that eventually kicked in and it worked for them. Same thing with in other aspects of our lives through our promotions or through our jobs or through accomplishments we made and other things. Um, those transformations we can appreciate it. I remember times when I used to get on stage and sing or whatever, I always had stage fright. That was because I didn't have a good representation of my body. I just, would have loved to have been smaller, but I kept this body what it was. But it amazed me because I started to learn how to accept my transformation, not only of me losing, but where I was headed as far as how I looked and all of that was because people weren't concerned about my look. They were concerned what came up out of me, whether I was speaking, whether I was, no matter what I was doing, whether I was encouraging. I've always been an encourager. So when I was speaking life into them, and then they come back and say, "You said this to me. You said this to me," and I'm like, "Wow, I don't even remember it," but they said I said it, and I was encouraging them. And then when they tell me that it happened or whatever, and I'm like, "Wow." Or things that I've encouraged to people they didn't believe when I said it to them, and then it happened, and they had to come back and say, "See, I told." Those are the times where I appreciate the transformation. Um, do not pick back up the weight. If you're gonna let it go and lose the weight behind the weight, don't pick it back up. And let me say why I say that, because uh, memories can be like clicks. Memories can be. I have a undergrad in psychology, but memories can be. You have to maintain your mental health. And when people say mental health, they're talking about mental. I don't mean mental health from that standpoint. That's why we have the mind of Christ. I'll say it like that. Whatever the behaviors and the thoughts and the patterns that had you to gain the weight, you're not going to go back to those. You're not going to go back. What was that in the Bible where they went back and um, there's a storyline or something in there where they went back and to the very thing that they gave up to the. No, we're not going. I'm not going back. Do not pick back up the weight, whatever that was. So if it, let me just use this as analysis. Let's just say it was that person that did something to you, whatever that you just you forgave them. You said you did anyway, and you through that point and you got it. And it was traumatic trauma. Okay, what you experienced, but you can't pick that back up again because if that happened 15 years ago, we're 15 years forward. Why are you there? God puts things into the sea of forgiveness for us as he does even the people who need to be forgiven by us. So don't go pick it back up. Don't go back and allow that to come back and then cause you go back into a sabotaging statement of a sabotaging status rather of eating again or using that because those things can cause triggers. I'm just being honest with you. I've had some of those sabotaging triggers where somebody could say something and the way in which I respond to it or I allow it to fester in me, I'll go get something I know I shouldn't have just to, and it's a false insecurity. It doesn't take it away. It happened. It was said. It's how I received it. It's how I processed it. And that's the part. That's why I say, do not pick back up the weight. Do not go back and pick up the weight you let go of. Also, embrace your strengths. I've learned some of my strengths during this time. That I'm stronger in this area. I've learned my weaknesses too, but I'm strong in this area. But a lot of my weaknesses have subsided because I'm gaining strength in so many different aspects of my life that I didn't apply when it comes to this condition of being obese, having a lifestyle obesity. Now, some of you all just may be, you just got it a year ago, 2 years. I have been obese the majority of my life, so um, this is not exciting. This is not fun. This is not, no. This is like real, real. Look, there's no diet. There's no pills. I've gone through all that. This is really internal out. I've got to deal with, and we're mind, body, soul, and spirit. All of those are applicable. But the body is the manifestation of showing what's happening in my mind, my soul, and my spirit. The soulish tides, the mind, my thinking patterns, my spirit, how close I am to Him, knowing who I am in spirit and how He moves through me and what He wants to do through me. I've hindered some of that because of my own weight. So make sure you embrace your strengths. You got to know what those strengths are, and you discover some as you go along as well. Respect your brief weaknesses. And because the Bible says when we're weak, then we're strong. Well, I understand that in a different way in application to this weight loss journey because when I have those moments, like I said, where I go and I may eat something or get something that I think will, then I realize the weakness is not that I chose it. The weakness is that I responded. So when I understood um, those weaknesses, then I was able to stop it before I moved on it. And then I had to respect my brief weaknesses by understanding that There's still areas in my life that I may have some weaknesses to. Those will grow over time. I mean, look, we came here as infants, we're growing out as adults. Life happens, and you will have strengths and weaknesses. It's how you overcome your weakness, or how you chart those weaknesses throughout your journey, be it in mind, body, soul, and spirit, so that it cannot hinder your progress and process throughout life. Encourage yourself. This is one of the main key points this last quarter. And I think when I saw those teams, they must, I don't know what they did. I don't know if somebody went over the sideline on the cameras and showed that and started encouraging. But I say this fourth quarter, encourage yourself. If you if you see that you set out, or if you see that you want to be and you're not, if it was 1 pound, if I'll say this, I would be just excited for the person who's 1 pound less December 31st, 2024, from January 1st, 2024, did I will the person who lost 120 pounds or 150 pounds or 100 pounds, whatever. And let me tell you why. Because that one weight, that 1 pound of weight is a loss. And we celebrating the losses. We celebrating our loss of that weight, and we're celebrating the gain that we have as a result of losing that weight. So I just want to say this across the board, that you must be able to encourage yourself, and encourage yourself throughout. So this is the fourth quarter. We're not at the end yet. So encourage yourself. I'm not looking for, let me tell you this. One of the biggest things on this journey, I am not expecting encouragement from family, friends, strangers, whoever. That's not the purpose. This is me and him. This is me and him. This is intimate. But as people see you and they see that you're progressing, and when I post, about, I talk about what I'm doing, then they will see when I begin to, celebrate my success that I've done. Then I'm getting the feedback, and that's encouraging to me. But I'm not dependent upon it. So my encouragement is with myself. We encourage yourself. Oh, there's another song that um, Donna Lawrence, I think, did the one about encourage yourself. Go get that one as well, because you may need that one throughout the journey. I have had to have that many a times as well. Treat yourself. So I treated myself. I went and bought new makeup. I went and bought new. One part I like about me being the so-called me modeling myself, me being my own model, is embracing the different facets of my look. So when I go out and buy things, it's really to kind of say, I want to add this. I want to see what I look like with this. I want to see how this looks on me. I want to see this different look. I have all these compartments. So I have my there's a wet look. There's a I have all these looks that I'm embracing and enjoying. So you see the bottles, they don't pour water all over them, but they got makeup. They still look, they come out. They don't have any makeup on. I mean, I have my sweet look. I have all these looks. My workout look and all that, and I'm embracing that. I'm enjoying treating myself with shifting to some of the things that I purchased that that represent those different categories of clothing, so to speak, that I want to wear, um, and then also my beauty treatments and things that I'm doing to improve me inside out, as well as to my skin and to my I don't know if I shared this with you, but in the beauty treatments that Esther did in the Bible. I've incorporated some of those, and just different things. I've been looking at different beauty treatments. And one thing I used to do, even being obese, I would go and get massages because it just helped me with my mental state for my job and things like that. But I haven't done those in a minute. I don't think I haven't done those in a while. But I do plan to find me a few resorts, not maybe beach resorts, things like that, but I plan to find me a few places that specialize in those kind of real beauty treatment things, and that's how I plan to treat myself when I get to a certain point. And I've done a couple of those before, and I mean, I'm talking about half day spas, full day spas. It was amazing. So I want to be able to read. I want to treat my body with that. Like, you've been through a lot. You've done all this. You've been holding all this weight. So I'll go find places where I can treat my body. Like, this is your. I'm giving you a treatment of encouragement and and thanking you for holding up all this time and all that. Um, Respect the transformation process inside out. Like I said, it is a transformation inside out. And I will tell you that more of the transformation is on the inside. Like I said earlier, the outside is just a manifestation of what was happening on the inside. So really respect that, because you're going to still be transforming. One of the things that I've read some articles that were very interesting to me were people who had lost weight, they transformed. I'm gonna give you two scenarios. One where um, the person never had boyfriends, wasn't married or whatever, didn't get the male attention and all that kind of stuff, and ended up losing weight, reaching her goal or whatever. And the first one that came along was to her, who was supposed to be, but ended up didn't work it out and threw her back into a spin wheel where she ended up worse than she was before. But so I say respect the transformation process inside and out, because when you do it inside and out and you know it is for you, and with me through my faith, um, I'm laying aside the weight, but I'm also using my faith to help me as well. Then I won't be. I don't expect to use validation from the outside to confirm what's already been validated on the inside. In other words, he validates me. He has encouraged me. He has shown me. He has spoken to me. He has revealed to me who I really am, the different things about me, my personality, how I respond, how I act, my influence, my influence. Um, so a lack of influence. Um, so I respect the transformation process inside and out, and outside I'm respecting how my body literally is changing and going back into the intended mold, intended frame that he had for me, and it's very humbling. I mean, very humbling. And also, I want you to defend your body, soul, and spirit. When I say defend, guard and defend your body, guard and defend your soul, guard and defend your spirit. Very, very important. Whether you 500 pounds or you 125 pounds, very important. Doesn't change by the weight. It changes by lifestyle. It changes by how you see yourself and how you live. Believe beyond measure. This is the part where I want to bring in the fourth quarter. Believe beyond measure. 5 pounds, my doctor told me, is a lot of weight to them. When I mentioned to my doctor what I wanted, my practitioner, how much I wanted, he's like, well, that may be too much. We really like you to do this right here. I was like, oh, pretty much I've already met that one, but no, I want to be, well, because health wise, I'm understanding now why doctors are saying what they, because there's so many different factors to how the condition of obesity can impact your medical, the way in which you're designed, how your body, your organs, and the structure of your skeletal and all that, everything, tissues, everything is impacted. And so I understand now what that means. So I have to really, I really had respect to make sure that I understood this process of believing beyond measure, believing beyond measure, believe beyond measure. And so I used to have I do the measuring tape. I'm not doing any of that. I'm losing the weight behind the weight. When I lose that weight behind the weight, the measuring tape was show what it's supposed to show. When I have to go out and buy different sizes now that I wasn't, I started out at 5X and now I'm not at 5X. So when I go to buy and I go from one X to another X, the goal is to get out of the X's, but I still go from one X to another X to another. That's the believing beyond measure. because I'm not staying with just one. I just want to be here. I used to say, oh, well, I want this to look like it. I don't even know what I want to look like now. I'm just going to believe beyond measure that I'm going to be healthy inside and out. And so let me go back to defend your soul and spirit. Defend your soul because you can't be as open as you used to be when you're in this process. So you have to watch your soul ties and watch it. You have to. I have been on the journey now for a few years, and he has. I really feel like he's kind of hid me in the cleft of the rock, where um, I think I've mentioned this before, but he kind of sets you apart because there's so much to the journey. There's so much to what you're doing and who you are, and all the dynamics over years. You just take, like, if I went sat down and multiplied 25 years times 365 days. That was one number. Then I did 25 years times uh, 24 hours. Yeah, but 24 hours times that many days times that many hours. That's how long I've been. I was like, wow. And the number kept getting huge, just just astronomical number. Okay. But that was needed so that I could see my two things. I saw defending how um, I was being defended in that process, in that state. But yet I also saw how I could believe beyond measure so that the remaining whatever those days will be with me where I'm supposed to be, hours, those years, those seconds will be what I'm supposed to be. And that's encouraging to me. Um, and you can't have, when I say defend your spirit, even, you have to make sure, stay as close as you can, I believe. My faith, like I said, my faith is my foundation. So because of that, I do revelation of his spirit through the word. I am able to apply and able to sustain and be able to see the strength and the power that I have to move forward and to keep defending. And I watch that closely. Also, I believe beyond measure because without faith, it's impossible to please him. So faith is the evidence of things not seen. I have not seen. Now let me say this. I've seen the weight goal that I've established for myself. I've seen that. But it was so long ago I don't remember what I even looked like then. I think I was in my teens when I saw that number. I'm not there anymore. And then when I was in my teens and saw that number, I was still considered plump because I was a little heavier than I should have been at that age. So I'm believing beyond measure because I'm entering a phase of discovery. And then finally, relate to I wanted to relate the college game and the NFL games. Like I said, when you believe beyond it, when those guys, those young men on those teams believed beyond measure and just kept they did it one, and let me say how they did it. They did it one touchdown or one field goal at a time. And then in some cases it ended up going to overtime and they won. In other cases, they just did it. Those last five, one team did it in less than five. I think it was 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So they believed beyond measure, and it couldn't be measured the time frame, pretty much, of their belief, but it was evidenced through the affirmation and what happened from them winning in that short span of time. So there's so many different aspects of how you can see this, but I just want you to be encouraged, and I just wanted you to know that now that it's the fourth quarter, we're gonna operate in the fourth quarter, and I'm gonna keep referencing about it's the fourth quarter, and you can do it, and we can do it, and I can do it, and you can do it, and we're gonna celebrate, and I'm looking forward to um, what happens as we go forward. Continue to be blessed. Continue to be encouraged. Continue to know your worth. Continue to be inspired inside and out. and continue to allow yourself to see the blessings of who you are and the greatness of who you are and the beauty and if it's a man watching the handsomeness of who you are and on your journey and just move forward. But remember, I'm just your weight loss encourager. I'm on this journey as well, and we are going to be advantageous in how we present and be influenced to those in our circle and throughout the world, as well as affluent, because I believe that the the rewards of our obedience to this journey and losing the weight behind the weight is really going to be a big blessing for all of us individually and collectively. So enjoy. I'll talk to you before the end of the month. You have a good day, a good time on this fourth quarter with your course, and stay safe. God bless you. Take care.